Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. It is Cheltenham Eve. All the things that you don't want to hear it called. One more sleep. We definitely can't say that, but that is where we're at, people. Is tomorrow, the Cheltenham Festival 2021 kicks off. Tuesday and Wednesday is what we're going to be previewing today. I say we, that is myself, Tom Stanley, Adele Mulrennan, Sam Turner, Steve Jones. You can Cheltenham born and bred with that hat. Look at that. Declan Ricks and Matchbook's very own Micheál Deasy. So 2 days we're going to be previewing for you because we've got the decks for Tuesday, Wednesday. God bless 48-hour decks over jumps. It's a thing of beauty and it's normal now, which is great. Long may that continue. And it has been the norm for the Cheltenham Festival for the last few years. So we've got Tuesday, Wednesday for you. We'll go in that order. If you are watching this back, and you want to skip ahead to Wednesday, then by all means do. All the time codes will be on the YouTube video for you, and we'll get those tweeted out as well. We are going to do the 3 grade 1s every day, and I know that there's the Mayor's Hurdle as well on Tuesday, but we're going to swerve that as an official preview and stick to 3 grade 1s, but there will be selections going up in an any other bets section as well, and we'll have the best bets for each day too with the 5 guys alongside. I hope that's clear. Just before we get stuck into the official preview and start with the Supreme, Deasy, the offer, you know it so well now. New customers only to Matchbook. What's the offer?
Right, so our sign-up offer at the moment is 0% commission on all sports until April the 12th. So if you sign up today with bonus code INSIGHTS, you're getting commission-free betting for Cheltenham, for Aintree, and everything else in between. So it's an absolutely brilliant offer for the week that's in.
And well done. He said 0, everyone. Round of applause for DC. He got 0 in there. Super. 0. He'll never say no again. Good man. Right, we're going to get stuck into the previews then. So the first of the grade 1s, it's the first race. It's the smallest ever field for the Supreme. With just the 8 declared for it. Unbelievable scenes. So betting, first of all, unsurprisingly, Dees, appreciate it. Heads the betting, take it away.
Yes, the Willie Mullins trained appreciate is top of the market at 2.02. Then you have Micheál 6.4, Ballymore is 8.8, Soaring Glory is 10.0, Blue Lord 12.0, Irascible 34.0, Grumpy Charlie 42.0, and For Pleasure is 50.0.
Now, you'll be aware that we did a preview just inside 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago, and the guys are back. Sam wasn't on that, but he's a great addition to this. So we can see how the selections now perhaps differ compared to where they were. But 2 guys sticking to their guns, first of all. Steve and Adele, you were very complimentary about Soaring Glory's chances. And Adele, you're still pretty confident the horse can run well.
I am, very. Just to add a little bit more to, I suppose, what I said in the first preview, just about his jumping, really. I know they've done lots of schooling with him. I said, Shishkin had actually fallen previously to Cheltenham, and I don't think it does them any harm because it just gives you a chance to kind of work on what they probably need to improve on a bit. Just want to add a little bit of information. So John Joe won the Betfair Hurdle with Get Me Out Here, who then was just beating a neck in this. So he definitely knows what it takes to win the race, and probably find a little bit more improvement, and he's not leaving anything behind. He's obviously got the first time cheap pieces on as well, and I do always kind of pay attention when John Joe puts on headgear for the Cheltenham Festival, because he's had a couple of winners with first time headgear in the past. So just to add a little bit more to the case that I've already made for him already, I suppose. Loads of pace on, I think, in the race, and I think it'll suit him.
I was going to ask you about the first-time cheap pieces. You've covered that. Matt Toombs gave the stat that 0 from 7 are Betfair Hurdle winners in the Supreme, but I think 3 have been placed. So they do have a good record of going well, for all they haven't won yet. Jonesy, what do you make of the first-time cheap pieces? Positive for Soaring Glory?
Yeah, I wouldn't go overboard on the positivity, but if it sharpens him up from what he did at Newbury, then he's got to have a great chance. The fact it's a small by Supreme comparisons in previous years, the small field does worry me a bit. I was, like Adele, very keen on him going into this, but the fact that it's only 8 runners does worry me a little bit. And there is pace in there, but he did it off such an overly strong pace in the Betfair Hurdle. They go proper gallop there, and they usually go proper gallop in the Supreme. And you mentioned that no Betfair hurdler has gone on to win. Well, they couldn't have gone much closer. The likes of My Turn to Yours, Get Me Out of Here, and Kalashnikov, who was just nailed on the line by Somerville Boy a couple of 3 years ago. I just think, had it been a bigger field, my confidence would have been higher, that's for sure. And we're going into the ground. We were talking about it earlier, whether it's soft or good. So he would have preferred it to be a bit drier, but I still think he'll run well. The interesting thing for me is the Willie Mullins angle. He's obviously won this a stack of times. I think it was 2 years ago he last won it with Classical Dream. But the ironic thing about that is Classical Dream wasn't favourite. And the other 4 favourites, 4 out of the last 5 years, Willie Mullins has had the beaten favourite. So, read into that what you like, but he's had a lot of goes recently, and it's one that was a little more under the radar. And although I think Appreciate It is clearly the standout, the worry for me is I've seen so many horses come, Irish horses especially, first race in the Supreme, Banker Bet, Dungeeb, You'll Never Walk Alone, all chinned. So it's a small start for me.
But forthright opinion, Sam, we can get your view on this race for the first time. For what it's worth, from my point of view, one thing I do think will happen is that the Appreciate It may well shorten, because what happened at the Dublin Racing Festival, they backed him as if defeat was out of the question. And 2.02, well, what price do you think he might go off, Sam? Which way do you think he'll go?
I think he'll probably be in and around even money. It's hard enough to predict horse races, let alone what prices are going to go off, Tom, and the distances. So I'll just stick with what I might know. I was really taken with the performance at Dublin, the Dublin Racing Festival, actually, because he was mithered for the lead by Irascible all the way round and another runner. And I always felt that Paul Townend just felt as if he had to go a stride quicker than he ideally wanted to. Yes, when you're on a 1-3 chance, you want to just dominate, have the run of the race and quick and clear after the last. But I thought he had to work quite hard for that performance and that victory. And I was quite taken with it. I thought it was a good effort. He fought off a number of challenges. A lesser horse would have been softened up, I think, by Irascible and been vulnerable to a late closer like Ballyadam or a Blue Lord, for instance. But he saw it out all the way to the line. I like the fact that he's already been here as well, obviously finishing second in a bumper, the champion bumper last year. Good performance, good solid effort, beaten by Fernie Hollow, just showed too much pace for him on that occasion. He could tidy up his hurdling a little bit. I didn't think that was exemplary when we last saw him, but in a smaller field, that might help him okay. And I don't think he has to lead. I think, as Steve alluded to, there's a bit of pace here for pleasure. I think Appreciate It might just sit on the quarters of that horse, or just in behind, draft in behind him and kick when the time's right. But he's a very, very strong stayer at 2 miles, which is what I like about him. But he has got a bit of speed as well. So I think he's the most likely winner without a shadow of a doubt. And he follows the same path as the last 3 Willie Mullins horses. That Chanel Farmer Grade 1 at Leopardstown stepping into this race. And it's worked pretty well for those 3. So I think it might work well again. I think if I was looking for one outside off the radar a little bit, it'd be Irascible to run through at a big price, ridden with a bit more patience. Perhaps 33 or 34.0 win and place would be a bit of a tall price for Irascible, but it's Appreciate It for me.
Helen's saying surely a lot of the knocking for Appreciate It is down to the price. Sam, are you going to 2.02? Is that a backable price for you, or would you just wait to see if he eased out a touch? And is there a price you'd want him to get to before you got very confident?
I think it's a fair price. I do think that, backing horses at even money, it just buys you a ticket for the next race, really, doesn't it? Unless you're going to have an absolute wedge on. I don't know many people who'd want to have a wedge on the first race at Cheltenham, because it's a hell of a long week. It's like getting out first ball, isn't it? You don't want, when you've won the toss and batted, it's not much fun the rest of the day, and it won't be much fun the rest of the week if you do your maximum and Appreciate It. I'd probably look to put him in, perhaps in some multiples, and then just have a small bet at around evens if that's your way you want to play it. But he might drift a little bit. There might be 1 or 2 people looking to the Snides might emerge and want to bet, the likes of Metier and Blue Lord, etc. against him.
Rixie, how are you playing it? Not backing Appreciate It, but not laying him as such. You have to unmute yourself there, Rixie. He's done it.
Fuck off, bloody hell! I've done a job.
Oh, that is good.
What I've done there now is basically lumping unappreciated, and he loses in the first race, so I'm off to it.
It's great when the first word you hear Rixie say on the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast Cheltenham preview is "fuck." Brilliant. Well done, Rixie.
Some things never change.
Go on then.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I've been yo-yoing with Appreciated this week just on account of the ground. All on the lead up on the way into the race, I was like, he's going to win. And then, but, you know, just as the week has gone on, it seemed like the ground was going to potentially get pretty quick. And Appreciated is a big horse. You know, I was just getting a little bit worried about the old course on proper kind of good spring ground for him. But then we got 12 millimeters out of nowhere last night at Cheltenham. So I think that's put him back into pole position now again. Just in terms of the ground up, we should probably have a quick chat about that. The official going description this day last year was soft, heavy in places. At the moment, Monday, as of about 3:30, it was soft, good to soft. But the going stick readings were very similar, actually nearly identical. So I'm struggling to get a grip on the ground, to be honest. But the official ground description said it's going to be much quicker than last year, but the going stick says it's going to be pretty similar. So basically, the softer the better, I think, for Appreciated. If it's kind of genuine soft ground, I think he'll win. But look, there's not much fun in kind of backing that kind of shorter price. So people are looking for a value bet. As long as Cheltenham don't get any more rain over the evening, I think Ballymore should be second favourite in this race. I'm pretty confident he's the second best horse we've seen. He's been getting better and better each with each run, and I was just worried about the ground a little bit now, but I'm convinced he's a 4 or 5 pounds better horse than Micheál on what we've seen. So if you want a little bit more bang for your buck on Ballymore without Appreciated, I saw it was hovering around the 3-1 mark there today. That'll do me.
That's Ballymore then a fairly strong shout from Rixie. He thinks he's the second best horse in the race. And Deasy, to get your views, I got excited when I saw the horse you were putting up, but actually it's a back to lay angle, so it's not just a whopping price you're having on side. Go on.
Yeah, well, I do think he's overpriced. The horse I'm putting up is For Pleasure. Now, Jones Yallis says that the best trial for Cheltenham was run the year before, but the second best trials for Cheltenham are run at the November meeting. It's the meeting that produces the most winners at the festival, and For Pleasure absolutely bolted up then. I know he went off way out in front. They had to catch him. They couldn't catch him, and he sprang a bit of a shock. And I think that's what he's going to do tomorrow. I think he'll go way off out in front. They'll probably let him go, and he'll keep galloping. He will stay. So the way I'm going to play it is he's 50.0 at the moment. So if you stick a tenner on him at 50.0 and stick in an in-running lay bet at 25.0, you're getting a free bet. As long as the lay bet gets matched, you're getting a free bet for 250 quid on him to win. I think that's how I play it, because I couldn't be back and Appreciate at the price. As Sam said, like if he wins, you're just getting a free bet for the next race. He probably will win. I think he the smaller field will suit him, and he's a very good horse. I will be interested in Micheál as well, but I think he's a bit short now. He was 8.0, 9.0 before Dex. He's after shortening in a bit. So I think I'll do the For Pleasure thing. This is what you can do in the exchange. You can play your prices. You can back at a big price. Hope your label gets matched, and you're not going to lose anything if your label gets matched. And if you only lose a tenner, sure, there's another 27 races.
And an in-running trade for Deasy with For Pleasure. Sam?
Yeah, just a quick note to all Matchbook subscribers: put your lane at 26, and then you'll get done. Not 25, because that'll get in front of Deasy.
That's charming, that is.
Well, you got to look after yourself. It's dog eat dog this week.
Yeah, quite right. Anybody got anything to add on the Supreme? Everyone's had their selection. Go on.
You know, we've spent all years kind of building up to this, so I think we should be having strong opinions. I think Soaring Glory is way out of his depth. I think he literally has a stone to find with Appreciate. I really do. So if he goes and wins, fair enough. I was hoping we get a big field here. I was going to play Slay him, but obviously we haven't got that. I genuinely think he is way out of his depth in this field. Anyway, can't wait to see him bolt up tomorrow.
Where would you put him there, Rixie, in the betting?
I would have him behind Appreciated, Ballyadam, Blue Lord, Metier, and Irascible.
Adele or Steve, by all means, feel free to come back.
He's not really a horse that, well, I suppose when the markets first come out, he was purely a place bet for me. And, you know, based on them running so well in this race after winning the Betfair Hurdle, I can't see why he isn't one for the place market. So I can't understand how you would think he's not got such a good chance.
There should be there should be a match bet going on between the two of you, just on the side. Do you want to say anything else, Jonesy? Or are you happy?
He's upset me too much. I think the thing with Soaring Glory, yeah, you can pick holes in his form, if his novice form previously, but that was clearly the plan with the Betfair Hurdle, and that is a massive advantage to be that nails to be able to win a race like the Betfair Hurdle. Okay, he's well handicapped, but to be able to cope with that sort of race, I know this is a smaller field than usual this year, but I think it's a big advantage to prove that you're battle hardened enough to cope with the rigors of a race like the Betfair Hurdle.
Sam, do you have anything to add?
I just don't understand the cheek piece angle. I don't know sort of why they would go to cheek pieces particularly. I didn't see anything untoward really at Newbury. I don't get that angle. If it ain't broke, don't fix it for me. But
I thought he ran around a little bit. Maybe it could be that.
Maybe.
I'm sure there's a stat on headgear in the Supreme being and I think it's because I put up a horse a couple of years ago and somebody flung one at me and said, well, you know, a horse with headgear has never won the Supreme or something like that. But whether you buy into that, I don't know. Deasy, come at me with the sorry.
There, I had he ran around just before 2 out, so maybe it was that they just wanted to keep him to run straight. Because let's be honest, he's going to have to run straight to have any chance of finishing 4th or 5th.
Deasy, just if you can give Adele the place market, that'd be ideal, I think, and then we'll move on from this race. So, what is Soaring Glory to place?
Soaring Glory is 2.5 as a back bet to place and 2.62 as a place lay. So, for anyone that doesn't know, place laying means that you're betting on him not to finish in the top 3. So, at his current price is 2.62. You're betting a tenner to win 6 that he doesn't finish in the top 3.
So as far as Soaring Glory goes, there's the outright, and then as far as the place goes, he's 2.5. Would you take that, Adele? 2.5 finishing in the first 3, Soaring Glory.
Yeah, I would, and I think because obviously I thought there was going to be more runners when I first tipped him. He was purely a place bet for me, so I've kind of been backed into a corner to have a small win bet on him as well, which at 10.0 is fantastic. But I will be playing him at the place market as well, considering his form and Betfair Hurdle winners going on to finish place in the race. Why not?
Let's move on. I just want Soaring Glory to win now because the WhatsApp chat will go crazy. Let's move on to the Arkle. So look, we know we don't have the biggest field for this. We've also got a without market, which we'll come to. But Dees, Shishkin
is 1.537. Then you have All Mankind is 6.2. Captain Guinness is 9.8. Franco de Port is 13.0. Eldorado Allen is 48.0. And Numitor is 340.0. And we just call out the without market as well. So All Mankind is favoured in the without market at 2.38. Captain Guinness is 2.96. Franco de Port is 4.2. Eldorado Allen is 15.5. And Numitor is 40.0.
And I'm going to come to Rixie first of all, because you want to take advantage of the without market, right?
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think Shishkin's going to win this race now. Unfortunately, Energumene was a non-runner during the week, and that's really taken not just gloss off this race, but actually I think gloss off the whole week, because that is probably as good a novice chase smash-up we've had at the festival in a long time. So it's a real shame we won't get to see that, especially now that the rain came. But yeah, look, you're not going to get rich back in Shishkin. So if you take him out of the equation, you can open up the race, much more in terms for betting value. And yeah, look, I'm going to give Captain Guinness another go. He did fall the last day at Leopardstown, but before he did fall, he was keeping tabs on Energumene, and he was keeping tabs on him, pretty comfortably enough. Fair enough now, Rachel Blackmore hadn't gone for him in Townend, hadn't gone for Energumene, but the sectionals and the time that day of Energumene stood up very, very well to what Shaq and Poursois did in the was it the Dublin Chase, I think. So I think that form is rock solid. The funny thing about it, he fell, but he's actually a good jumper, Captain Guinness, in the main. And it was a strange fall. He kind of half knuckled over. It was really strange. So look, I'm going to give him a go. And my theory is that he's going to come in here after that fall a fresher horse than All Mankind, who was brilliant again at Warwick. People are crabbing his jumping from Warwick, but if you go back and watch his first two races, he was very good. The Skeletons blamed the ground that day at Warwick, and I'd agree. And even the mistake he made it 2 out, for a novice to make that bad of a mistake, but find a leg comfortably, I thought was a very good sign of a good horse. So there's not much between Captain Guinness and All Mankind. All Mankind might get into a little pace battle with Shishkin and might soften him up for Captain Guinness to come home and finish second. So that's the way I'm going to play this year's Arkle.
Captain Guinness without Jonesy. I know you like Shishkin. Would you back him, or would you sit and watch?
I might be tempted to put him in a double with Monkfish, because I think those are the two standout odds-on shots. But last year's festival, there were 5 odds-on favourites. 4 of them got beaten. So it's a risky old business. And like Sam says, betting the short ones, you're just buying a ticket to the next race. And with Shishkin, you're not even buying that. So I think he'll win. I think All Mankind will give him a lovely lead round and he'll pick him up. And he's followed the Altior route supreme and then go and chase him the next year and has looked exceptional. So I think he'll win. I hope he wins. But I think there's so many betting opportunities at the festival. You don't have to get involved in odds on. You can just enjoy the race.
Sam, you without market or just a place bet on FDP?
Without market for me, I'll be looking for Franco Deport to, much the same as the case that Rixie's made for his horse Captain Guinness, for Franco Deport to pick up some pieces. He represents the Energumene form as well. He was a bit unfortunate, I thought, at Leopardstown. That early slip and stutter meant that he was so far out of his ground he could never lay a glove on Energumene. But I thought he ran through the race pretty well, and ran through the line quite strongly as well, albeit Energumene was eased down and was a 10-length winner in the end. But I think he's a strong stayer at 2 miles, and All Mankind's going to really serve it up to him from the front here. I think rhythm is going to be massive early on. If you need your horse to be hitting, not hitting, but hitting their straps really, and seeing a stride at every fence, because they won't miss a beat here with All Mankind in the race. They're going to go a million. So Franco Deport is usually a pretty safe conveyance. He hasn't got a fall on his card like Captain Guinness has, for instance. So hopefully he'll get a good spin round and pick up some pieces late on. And you never know, the jack might come up. Shishkin's going to be under a bit of pressure here to jump fluently to keep tabs on All Mankind. And there might be 1 or 2 of these might come from behind and cause a bit of a surprise. But what is Eldorado Allen doing in the race? That's what I want to know, Tom.
It's because they had 4 in, isn't it? So Colin Tizard was on Luck on Sunday saying, Eldorado Allen for the Grand Annual. And then literally 25 minutes later, they stuck him in. What they've done is they've seen there's only 4 in the Arkle, and Joe's gone, well, let's roll the dice. I mean, I get it, but yeah.
Colin was chatting and Joe was pressing, and that's the problem. It should have been the other way round. And those of us who had anti-post vouchers for the Grand Annual, he fitted every stat in that Grand Annual. Anyway, move on. I need cancelling before the meeting starts.
Oh, that's brutal, yeah.
The Tizards have a habit of this, don't they? They
switcheroo.
Well, no, not switcheroo, but I think they overface their horses a lot. They wouldn't even consider Lost in Translation for the Ryanair this year, and they've got Native River in there. I don't know how many horses they ran in the National Hunt, or they should have run in the National Hunt chase over the last 4 or 5 seasons. They ended up running in the RSA, and they were beaten out of sight when they looked tailor-made for the other race. So, good on him. They're having a crack, but he's not going to beat Shishkin unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong. I totally agree. He should have been in the Grand Annual.
Rixie wanted Copperhead to run in the National Hunt Chase last year. That's why I'm reading into that.
Long-term agenda, that. They need a race
Deasy,
planner, Rixie.
Yeah, exactly. Deasy, you're an FDP fan, right? Franco for you.
Yeah, exactly. As what Sam said there. No, I mean, like in that chase the last day, he went off half the price of Captain Guinness. He went off at 6.0 and Captain Guinness was 11.0. I know Captain Guinness is ahead of him in the betting for this. I don't understand it at all. I think that Franco, he's 4.2. I don't know. That's a cracking bet to finish second to Shiskin. I'll be having plenty of that and won't be looking at anything else in the race.
Simple as that. Lovely. Arkle, anybody else want to add anything? We're happy? Lovely. Let's move on to the Champion Hurdle. Now, this is competitive, which is good news, I think, for the day. DC, off you go. 2.76 Honeysuckle. What else?
Honeysuckle is 2.76. Epatante is 4.9. Goshen is 5.9. Abracadabras is 11.5. The New Sharjah 11.0. Silver Streak 19.5. Aspire Tower 29.0. James Burley 34.0. Salier and Not So Sleepy 90.0. 5.0.
Adele, you put up Honeysuckle as your best bet on the anti-post preview. There she is at 2.76. I dare say the recent rain is no bad thing, given that if you're supporting her. Anything changed for you with Honeysuckle? We've got to unmute.
You.
Yeah, Adele's turn.
Come on, Adele, bloody hell.
Sorry. I don't know why everyone keeps going on about the ground with her, though. She's won on various grounds. She's won on good ground. She's won on good to yielding ground. If she's going to get away with the ground being, I suppose, soft, as they say. I'm glad Rix has already said about the going stick, because I looked into it to see, because so many times we have the going stick down as a reading, and then, then on another day it's down as a completely different going, and it's the same going stick reading. I think she'll be fine on the ground. I can't see it being much of a problem. What I think with her, I think Rachel, she kicked for home way out, which was very impressive last time out. And I think she'll do the same again on her. I do. I think she's going to use the fact that she's got stamina as well. And, I think there's going to be plenty. Well, I think there'll be plenty of pace on. I know Goshen, he likes a strong pace, but I think it'll be whoever makes the kind of maneuver at the right time. And I think she will kick quite early because she knows she stays, whereas the others, I don't know if they stay quite as well as her. So I think she's going to make it, a strong test, and I think she'll kick quite early.
That'd be interesting. She was so good last time when doing just that. DC, what do you want to add to Honeysuckle?
Just went to mute myself there. Honeysuckle, like I'm going for Honeysuckle just because of the ground. I was leaning towards Epatante, and I thought the ground was going to be a bit better because just looking back at them last year, she was I think she was 2.5 seconds faster than her. But I think Honeysuckle just has the better form this year. There are too many question marks on Epatante, so Honeysuckle for me in a very open race. But I don't think I'll be getting heavily involved in it. I'll be happy enough to watch this one.
I guess that's the point, isn't it? I think there's a view that softer ground will inconvenience others more than perhaps it will her. Rixie, you still place Lane Goshen?
Yeah, I'm happy to place Lane Goshen. I think the recent rain that's come will definitely be a help to him, but anytime I've seen him run left-handed, he's just never really convinced me. Look, I know, fair enough, he was going to bolt up in the Triumph last year. Before that, he slipped up there, but if you just go back, that whole race in the Triumph, Jamie Moore's left hand must have been in bits because he just had it on the rein for the whole. He just had his hand on it, pulling the head off him for the whole way. He nearly won a Triumph hurdle, kind of doing that, but I just don't think he's going to get away with that in a champion hurdle. The other thing is, I think the switch from the new course to the old course, I think that's going to play against him as well. It's going to put more emphasis on speed. So. Look, I think nearly every racing fan would love to see Goshen win just to remedy what happened last year. But for me, he's a play, Slay. I think he should be. I think he's more a 10-1 shot, to be honest. 12-1 even. So yeah, I'm happy to play Slay Goshen and be proven wrong there.
He's 2.36 as we saw there for the place to lay him. Would you back anything in the race?
Yeah, well, I was getting excited about Epatante really before all the rain came, and then just but again, I think we're going to have to see what happens with in the Supreme and see what the ground is really like. Because as we said earlier, well, I don't know about the rest of everybody here, but I'm still undecided about the ground. We're kind of guessing, but the faster the ground, I think the less chance Honeysuckle has of winning, and the better chance Epatante has. But I'm going to give Epatante another chance. I was reading Nicky Henderson's Unibet blog earlier today. He gave a very positive bulletin about her. So, look, she was disappointing at Christmas, but it sounds like she had a couple of reasons there. And we know she goes well fresh. And I think if she produces what she did in this race last year, assuming Honeysuckle doesn't run up to her best on kind of quicker ground on the old course, I think she'll win again. So, yeah, it's going to be Epatante for me. But, and even at a bigger price at Sharjah, winning place, I think, he's a fair price. He should be third favourite for me and a lot shorter than 12, 14 to 1 or whatever he is. So, yeah, I've been all about Epatante and Sharjah in this race for a long time. So I'm going to stick to my guns here. But I needed to stay dry for that to happen.
And that time for the Supreme, like you say, was going to be very interesting. It's round about 4 minutes, isn't it? And whichever side of that I think you go is whether you're easier than good or genuine decent ground.
Yeah, I'll be looking for maybe 354, 352. That'd be proper nice spring ground.
Jonesy, we need some love music. We need some. Oh, look out!
This is the big race. So Sammy's done a similar thing in that he's got the silver streak. This horse is a mental price. It is a mental price. It's 19.5, Dees.
19.5 is what I said, Jan. I'm looking at a different marker here now. 19.5, yeah.
And what you got to remember about the ground as well at Cheltenham, they haven't raced on it since December. They haven't raced on the old course since November because the 2 meetings in January were called off. So they've had all the time in the world to prepare the track. So it's not going to be too bad. It's dry today, nice and warm. Well, warmish for March. It's going to be dry again tomorrow. I think it'd be perfect. The more it dries out, obviously, the more it helps Silver Streak. But he's got so much in his favour, this horse. He thrashed Epatante, who they say was below par in the Christmas hurdle. Fair enough, but he still thrashed her. And that's around Kempton. He's got the track form. He's finished third in this race 2 years ago to Espoir d'Allen when the ground was proper testing. So he's going to have conditions better than that. And he's already finished third in it. And he's improved so much in that last 2 years that I'm at a loss. And his record when fresh is exceptional. That's the other thing. He won first time out this season beating Verdana Blue at Kempton. Last year, he won first time out again. The year before, he won first time out. He's also won with breaks of 63 days, 195 days, 79 days. And he's got a break of, 80 days this time. So everything is in this horse's favour. And they rule him out, A, because it's Evan Williams, and B, because he's come through the handicap route. And that there's no way on this earth he should be that sort of price. And for a win and a place bet, he is exceptional. I think I thought he'd be 12 to 1. I thought he would be 12 to 1.
You like him, don't you, Jonesy? I can tell. I can tell when you like one. You get that other hat on. And just to add to that as well, as Matt Toombs put up as one of the stats on this, previous form in the race is actually no bad thing. And horses can be ruled out because they've tried and failed before, but actually they've got a half decent record. And I think, Sam, you're seeing from a similar hymn sheet to that which Deasy was. Rixie was even.
Hang on, Tom. I've just got the BBC on. Jonesy, you've got the job on Bargain Hunt, mate. Well done. I think Deasy's got Rixie's got it right. I think Sharjah's well overpriced here. That track at Leopardstown, which he disappointed so much on last time, it's not the first he's done that. You can explain that performance away. he's had one less run this year as well, which I think will play to his strengths because he goes pretty well fresh. He was second in the race last year. I think any double figure price about him is very, very fair each way, with tons of pace on. Oh So Sleepy, Aspire Tower. You think both of them are going to go like bat out of hell here. That's going to suit Honeysuckle. It's not going to help Goshen, but I think it will help Epatante and Sharjah, two horses that have got a bit of latent speed. Yeah, I could have done without the 10 or 12 mils. I must admit that was a bit of a kick in the proverbials, but I think both of those horses, Epatante and Sharjah, that's probably the way I'll play it. Hope that they get away with the ground rather than expect that they really enjoy it. I mean, Epatante, if the going sticks similar to last year, Epatante still quickened from the back of the last, as you like to say, Tom, and put 3 lengths between herself and Sharjah, and good distances between those in behind her as well. I mean, she really did quicken lovely, and I don't see many other horses in this race with that turn of foot and that speed. I think most of them are 2 mile grinders like Goshen and Honeysuckle, whereas I think Epatante's got that blistering speed. So I'll hope for a repeat of last year's race, a 1-2. That'll do me nicely.
That will do you nicely, won't it? Champion Hurdle. Any other thoughts, guys? Anything else to add?
Yeah, I just hope Not So Sleepy doesn't cause more bloody carnage like he did in the Fighting Fifth, because his old mucker Silver Streak is in here. He shouldn't be running in this race. He's not good enough. He should be in the county hurdle. So if he causes carnage, Hughie Morrison, back to your flat game, mate. So we shall see. I don't think he should be running here. He's not good enough. But again, we're going to see if Soaring Glory wins the Supreme and this lad wins the Champion Hurdle. I think I might be going into the bunker for the rest of the week.
That would be tremendous. I backed Not So Sleepy in this race last year, so there you go. That's why I'm just on the hosting duties here, quite rightly. Right, any other bets we move to then for Tuesday? So this is opened up to the floor with whatever races you want. They can be in any race. DC and I'll try and be on prices as quickly as we can. So I'll just go in order that I can see you. So Adele, first of all, other bets you're having on Tuesday in any order you like.
I've gone for Hugri, tipped him up in our previous Cheltenham preview. I think it was a much bigger price than what he is on Tuesday.
Well, Paul Nichols, I know has I know that he fancies the horse quite a lot. This was subsequent to you putting the horse up. I found this out, and it's 5.8 now, 5.8. So I hope you, and I know Paul is on at bigger prices. So 5.8 for Hugri in the Boodles. Who else?
I've also gone for Galvin as well, but I heard Paul tip him earlier on in a little. He did a little video chat earlier on. I thought, oh no, let's definitely put the stumps on that one. But I'm going to stick with him. So I've got Galvin as well in the National Hunt Challenge, who I think is he favourite or he was second favourite?
Second favourite now, I think. Yeah, there's been a lot of money for Next Destination.
Blimey, second fav. That's ridiculous. I mean, once Royal Pagaille came out, this Galvin should surely be. I mean, I suppose Adele, the yard change might be worrying some people a little bit, but I'd go along with you. I'm surprised he's second fav.
Yeah,
go on.
Galvin and Hugri, I'm going to put them in a little double.
That's you done for other bets on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Lovely job, Sam Turner.
I'll stay loyal to Bustleton and the Boodles. We've been with this horse since the start of the season. I think the cheap piece is on for him. I would prefer if it was the other track. I think he's quite a big, robust horse that would be much better suited by jumping sort of 2 hurdles in the last mile or so of the Triumph Hurdle track. But just the proviso that this tight track might not play to his strengths quite so much. I'll back him and Saint Sam out of the Spring Juvenile at Leopardstown. I think those two could be head and shoulders above our juveniles. And probably Ascaria 10 in the last race. He just looks a proper grinder to me. I like horses with a bit of experience in this. And Next Destination's only had 2 chase runs, which is a bit disconcerting. Galvin, I don't think it'll be a problem going back to Ian Ferguson, because I'm told he broke him in as a younger horse. So that shouldn't be too much of a destabilising effect for him. But I like Ascaria 10. I think he's just a proper grinder stayer. So he'll do for me in the last.
Just some support for Adele. Peter's Punt says Hugri tick. So Peter is obviously, I assume Peter's Punt is called Peter. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Very much agreeing there. Stephen's comment is absolutely brilliant. That basically, Rixie, you should become a trainer, and then he's called you Richie. I love that.
He said,
I wish I
something
had
way
his
worse.
money. I wish I had his money.
Dish it out, Stephen. That's quite right too. Good stuff. And Bustleton, just to say, is Sam's horse to follow this year. So that was put up in October, and here he is, a warm order for the Boodle. So great stuff. We love that. Jonesy, your other bets for Tuesday, sir?
Ultimate Chase, Al Nadam, I like a lot. He's got to prove he stays 3 miles, but for me, it's Sandown last time when he jumped really well, beating Clan Legend, and that was an open chase. So he's still a novice. So he's proven it against the older horses or the more experienced horses. He go into the pond fence 3 out at Sandown. There were a lot going better than him, but he saw them all off and he was charging clear. That was over 2.5. I think step up in 3s. If he handles it, which I think he will, I think he's a good bet at around, was he about 12, something like that, Dees? So and the Skeltons are in great form. So that would be one. The Boodles, I'm going with something that you always get on Matchbook podcasts, Sage Advice. Now, this one is, again, a big price. Was beaten in a 3-runner race last time. Don't worry about that. It needs a fast pace, and he'll get this. And I think the better grade, been running on heavy. I don't think he wants heavy ground. He copes very well with soft ground, and he's overpriced for me. Richard Newland, Sam Twiston-Davis, down the bottom of the weights. And the final one, you've all been going on about the National Hunt Chase and the rain. It's the snow you want to worry about, because it's Snow Leopardess in the National Hunt Chase. Now, this, funnily enough, this one's half-brother one today at Stratford in the bumper. But Snow Leopardess does everything you want in this sort of race, and that is jump and stay. And don't worry about the ratings, because this horse is tailor-made for it.
I've forgotten what. I can't remember the horse.
Snow
Leopardess. That's right.
Charlie Longstons.
You put that horse up before. You put her up in the Warwick Chase, I think, didn't you?
No, it was the 3-mile chase at Wetherby, I think.
Roland Merrick.
No, at Haydock. At Haydock when it won, and it stormed home, having looked like it was not going to get there, and it did get there, and that means stepping up 3/4 of a mile in distance is absolutely ideal for this horse, and it's going to keep going and keep going.
Sage Advice is 22.0. Got that. Did we get an Al Nadam price, Dees, in the Ultima?
Al Nadam is 11.5, and it has drifted from 11.0, which when I checked it 30 seconds ago. So
there you go. That's it. Moving markets.
Rixie's been laying it. That's why he's laying all my selections.
No, I'm actually with you on one in the Boodles. I'll just go in race card order. In the Ultima, I think that's, for me, it's a 2-horse race between Happy Go Lucky and One for the Team. I think Happy Go Lucky will take a hell of a lot of beating. I love this horse. He's a proper good horse. His form is very good. His time in the sectional stood up nicely with what Mr. Fisher did the day he won the Peterborough at Ascot. He jumps for fun. Really likeable horse. So yeah, Happy Go Lucky. And if it looks like the ground is actually going to be pretty decent there, I'll be backing One for the Team as well. I'll be backing the two of those. Look, you work all year for this festival, and if you back one and you don't back the other and the other one goes in, you're kind of kicking yourself. So I think those two are going to take a hell of a lot of a beating. One for the Team is actually the best handicapped horse in that race for me, but I think he's pretty ground dependent. He's going to need it to stay dry. In the Mayor's Hurdle, I don't really get all the buzz with Concertista in terms of her price. I'd be pretty confident just as a horse in terms of ability. Roxana is a better animal than her, but obviously she's dropping down in trip. But to be fair to Roxana, she's a very slick jumper for a staying hurdler. She travels for fun, and she's been running against Paisley Park and horses like Time Hill. Those are proper classy horses who have gears. So I think at the prices you've got, I'm happy to back Roxana against Concertista. In the Boodles, I'm with 2 as well. I'm with Sam on Bustleton. I think he's pretty well handicapped. And then I'm also with Jonesy with Sage Advice. If the ground gets quick there, or it rides a lot quicker than we think it's going to be, that Sage Advice is a massive price, huge price. So yeah, those are it for me. And no real strong opinion in the National Hunt Chase. So yeah, that wraps up everything for me on Tuesday.
That's pretty good stuff. Rattled through all of those, and there was a lot of happy chat. A lot of Helen and Peter liking Happy Go Lucky, a good deal. I hope you're right with one team, very much so. DC, what about you, sir?
If you would have been covered already, so I'm going to put up Nietzsche in the ultimate. He's 34.0. Now this is a bit of a hit and hope with him, but I think that this is his first time going this kind of trip. But he's a former great with hurdle winner. He won on this track, I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. The last time he ran and did the race at Sky Pirate when he finally went down to 2 miles and he absolutely balled it up. But if you watch the race, Nietzsche was about 20 lengths off them and in the back straight, just travelled into it, got up next to Sky Pirate and was actually upside Sky Pirate at the last, jumping the last. He just got done for a bit of pace at the end of it. He's been off since December, I think. He's in at the very bottom of the weights. He's an absolutely massive price. I think that they would, like Brian Ellison, would be throwing him into this for no reason at all. And Adele, you might know, is it someone's birthday connected to Brian Ellison's tomorrow? Because he usually has a winner around his birthday or his mother's birthday. That winner of the Eider handicap, that was Brian Ellison's birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, Brian born on the plate day, Northumberland plate day. Oh, yeah. When he was born, so I don't know whose birthday it's going to be.
Okay, well, we'll put that theory aside. So I think he's a massive price for this, and he's a novice. He's only 8 years old. He's been around for years, but he's a great jumper. I think he'll be able to travel with them, and we're getting 5 places, so I'll have a nice chunky place, but on him and a small win bet as well at 34.0. I think he's a nice big price for that. The other ones, I agree with you on Bustleton. I think he's a nice bet. The other one I liked in that race was Cabot Cliff's Dan Skelton's horse. He's not with handicapped. He's fairly exposed now, but he's a good tough horse. He'll definitely be able to stay the trip. He'll go at the hustle and bustle. And again, I think he's about 11.0. I just think he's 21.0. Again, nice, a small win bet, a nice place. I think he's a good horse for this. And in the last race, I think next destination. Now he's no price now at the moment. He's 3.5. I was on him in the without Monkfish mark on him to finish second to Monkfish. I was kind of delighted when he changed to this. He's been absolutely punted off the boards. He was 9.8, I think, 2 days ago for this. I know he's 3.5. I think he's a brilliant jumper. I think he will stay the trip. I think his jumping is what will win it. I think he's probably a better jumper and a better horse than Galvin. Although Galvin is a good one for it as well, and I'm happy enough to tip him up to win, even though his price is a bit skinny.
That's next destination. He has been hammered in that National Hunt Chase. Best bets then on Tuesday. I'll go back in the order we've just come. So best bets, one horse you couldn't do without, who you think is a good value bet for Tuesday. Your best bet, DC.
Next destination.
Next destination in the National Hunt Chase. Rixie.
And he's muted.
Fuck's sake. I'm such an amateur. I really am. Happy Go Lucky, please.
Happy Go Lucky in the ultimate, your best bet. Look at you, Jonesy. Who's your best bet?
At the prices, it's got to be Silver Streak.
He loves Silver Streak, everyone. That love affair goes back a long way. Silver Streak in the Champion Hurdle. Sam?
Bustleton, got to be, hasn't it?
Bustleton, your horse to follow for the whole year in the Boodles. And Adele, your best bet for Tuesday.
Couldn't decide between Hoogery and Honeysuckle, but I'm going to stick with Honeysuckle. Been very strong on her all week, so I'm going to stick with her.
Yeah, your best bet in the Antipost and sticking with her in the Champion Hurdle. Day one, done. That's us for day one. Hopefully all a good deal richer. We move on to day two, Wednesday, and we get stuck straight into the Ballymore. DC, odds for the Ballymore.
Bob Allinger is the favourite at 2.92. Then you have Brave Man's Game at 3.75. Goyard de Menil is 3.95. Bear Gills 11.5. Kescon Risk is 17.5. Does He Know is 65.0. And Optimised Prime is 80.0.
Those are the odds for the Ballymore. 2.92 then, Bob Ollinger. And Crocodile Dundee, that's the horse who you fancy. Jonesy.
Yeah, something like that. It's very similar to the Supreme for me, in that I think Bob Ollinger will win, but I haven't got it. I wouldn't be all that confident. Again, it's a small field, and I think he's the right favourite, but at the prices, I'm not going to get too overexcited.
Fair enough. So Bob Ollinger, the right favourite, but 2.92 is about right for you. So maybe just see what happens with regard to the market. Adele, you're still looking one at a half decent price. You and I had a good chat about this horse on the preview last time after he won at Exeter and then missed an engagement. But my heart would love this horse, Bear Gills, to win as well. And your head's still suggesting that you think he'll go well.
I am. I'm going to stick with him. Very disappointed because I thought there were going to be a lot more runners. Usually we have double-figured runners in this race, so I was hoping that I was going to get a nice place bet on him. But I suppose he's still big enough to play for a place, and I just like him because he just seems to know how to get the job done. I did hear that they've been taking him away to school because he does show a few errors when he's jumping, and interesting to hear that he doesn't make any mistakes at home. He jumps fine, so they've been taking him away to school. So hopefully they might have ironed out a little bit. And then I was looking for another horse just to again play at the place market, because last year they're like 12 to 1 seconds, 25 to 1 seconds, and there was one horse that actually ticks so many boxes, but you couldn't really back him on what he's shown the last twice, and that does he know. He ticks everything. He ticks everything for the trainer form, the going, the trip, the course, his ability. But the last twice, I don't think you could really have a bet on him. But I'm going to stick with Bear Gills then.
Bear Gills for you then in the Ballymore. I thought Gaillard de Menil was going to be really vying for favouritism, but that's not necessarily the case. Sam, you quite like him.
Yeah, I do, Tom. He's almost the forgotten horse of the race, isn't he? Because the previews that have been done so far, one or two people were very, very positive about Bob Ollinger. And I could understand why. I thought he was tremendously impressive at Naas. I love any horse that wins at Naas and finishes his race off properly because it's a proper test. And he beat Blue Lord very comfortably that day. It's another case in point, isn't it? Is watch the races tomorrow or Tuesday, work out which races look good for the rest of the week, the form lines and how positive they are. So Blue Lord runs well in the Supreme. You can probably get yourself a price on Bob Ollinger quickly if you fancy it, because they are going to affect the prices depending on how the form lines are starting to work out as the week wears on. So I've got loads of respect for Bob Ollinger, but I'm going to stick loyal to Gaillard de Menil. I thought that run over Christmas where he thumped Mr. Incredible by 9 lengths was a tremendous performance. There's been a host of winners come out of that race. I was really taken with how he managed to win last time, actually. I was a bit worried about it. Stepping up in trip, the hood on first time, for a horse with latent speed, who I thought could come back to 2.25 miles or 2 miles. I was a little bit worried about him stretching out to that trip on sticky old ground, but he saw it out well. I think the lack of crowds will help him as well. Obviously, he's a buzzy horse, bit exuberant, lives on his nerves a little bit, but no crowds. That'll be great. He'll get down to the start, hopefully be nice and calm. I think he's a spot of value, to be honest. When you look at Braveman's game and the Challow stats and the fact that Paul Nicholls doesn't always find this an easy race to win, or hasn't found it an easy race to win, I think Gaillard de Menil is a very fair price.
I'm going to pick straight up on Braveman's game, what you've just said there, and the Challow stats, etc., and go straight to Rixie because you fancy him. So the sort of previous Challow winners' lack of form in this contest doesn't worry you, Rixie?
Nah, put your stats in the bin. Don't care. So yeah, form, everything about form for me. That wasn't put your stats in the bin, Sam. That was put your stats in the bin, everybody. By the way, I really like Braveman's game. To be fair, the 3 that head up the market here are all very likable horses. In terms of form, I don't think there's nothing between any of them, to be honest. Bob Ollinger, I would just say he did beat Blue Lord in the Lawlers and Naas, but he had the kind of run of the race out in front. The Blue Lord was so keen that day, and he never dropped the bit the whole way through the race. So I think in the end, was it any surprise that he won by that far? Fair enough. Then Gaillard Gallard Dumenesil. I butchered that, but anyway, he at the Dublin Racing Festival, that again was proper soft ground. He's a very keen, buzzy horse. He beat a horse of Mouse Morris's who only won a maiden hurdle, and the third horse, Home Statler, is considered an Albert Bartlett type by the Mullins team. And I think that there's only, 7 runners in here. I think the small field could potentially be against him. Paul Townend's going to have no choice but to really anchor him and get him to settle. If he doesn't get him settled, I think he's going to be in trouble against horses of this ability. And then if he does get him to settle, I think he's probably going to be giving up a tactical advantage to Bob Ollinger and to Brave Man's Game, who like to race a little bit more forward. So, and the other thing is the ground. I think the Irish horses have been winning on proper soft and heavy ground this winter. It's going to be, hopefully, it's going to be a lot better by the Wednesday. And yeah, Brave Man's Game, he's got 4, he glides across the ground. He's a very good jumper. And what I really love about him is when Harry Cobden's giving him a smack, he takes off. He knows what is his job. He knows what to do. And if you get in a battle with him, good luck to you, because this horse is an absolute tiger. So yeah, it's going to be Brave Man's Game for me. And to be honest, I genuinely think he should be fav, but we shall see.
About as bullish as Paul Nicholls on Brave Man's Game. Love it. Sam, what did you want to come back with?
Well, I didn't know where to put the stats in the bin or Jonesy's hats in the bin. I cut out briefly, so it's just one of the two.
Now, one of the things on the stats as well, I think just on that race, is that the Challow is normally on very testing ground, and it wasn't so much this year. So maybe that's an angle in there. One thing I'm interested in as well, Deasy, I'll come to you on this because Sam mentioned it. It was Jamie Codd who mentioned it on another Cheltenham preview. I know, shock horror, on the At the Races preview. Who he said this horse is a stone cold certainty about Bob Ollinger, and his price shortened up as a result of that. Is he therefore? And this is no disrespect to Jamie Codd, because it's fine, he's a good judge. But just because somebody says he's a stone cold certainty, when he shortens the price like that, he's just a lay, isn't he? On value grounds, he shouldn't shorten up that much because one man says he's a stone cold certainty.
That would be exactly why I'm going for Goyard de Minil, because I think he has gone out in price just because the other two have shortened because of trainer quotes and Jamie Codd, and Jay Mangan put up Bob Ollinger as well. And like, there's lots of people and lots of them. I put him up now. He could very well be the best horse in this race. I don't think there's much between the three of them. I think picking the winner is you could talk about this for a day and you could make great cases for all three of them. They're 3 cracking horses. I think Goyard de Minil is probably, of the 3 of them, I'd probably back him just because his price is bigger than what he's at the drifting for no reason at all, except that public money has come for the other horses. You will see a lot on the show whether he'll be backed in or not. I think on the day, the money will come from one of them, and I think one of them will end up clear favourite. So I would just take Goyard de Minil just on that, just at his prices. I think he does a bit of value, and I think he's a very good horse. I think he won his race at Dublin Racing Festival was very impressive. That the horse he beat, the Mouse Morris horse, Gentleman's Game, I think he's going to be a serious horse next year. Like I think he came in there with very little form, but he ran a great race, fierce galloper, and Goyard de Minil, like, he absolutely trashed the whole field. I thought he was good. And I agree with Adele about Does He Know won the first race at Cheltenham this year in the October meet, and he absolutely skated up. He's a big price, but again, you're like, 3 places, is he going to get the top 3? Maybe a small place betting him as well, just to keep it interesting. But Goyard de Minil would be the one that I would pick, but I wouldn't be very strong that I think this is an absolutely brilliant race, and I'd be happy enough to watch it without getting too financially involved.
Helen, thank you for correcting me. He said, Jamie Codd says, God-given certainty, God-given certainty, which is even stronger than Stone Cold. So there you go. Good spot, Helen.
That was your favourite wrestler.
Yeah, Stone Cold. Love him. Looks like DC. Right, we move on to the Brown Advisory, the former RSA. Right, prices. I'm going to come to Monkfish first of all, but prices, we can see what he is there. Dees.
Monkfish is 1.487. Then you have the Big Breakaways 9.0. Sporting John and the Cladery both 12.0. Dickie Diver is 17.0. And Fiddler on the Roof is 28.0.
If I can, Sam and Steve, you can sort of go with Monkfish and talk about the positives, talk about the price, whether or not it's backable at that sort of price, because you've already suggested that he probably isn't, based upon you're not going to make a huge amount of money backing him. But what do you want to say about Monkfish, Sam?
I think he's brilliant. I'd probably just leave it at that. I mean, the only chink in his armour for me is that he can sort of get latched on a little bit. He can be a little bit keen and exuberant, but he's just an outstanding horse for me. He just wants to do it. I mean, he's just been a revelation over fences. He's a pretty good hurdler, but over fences, he seems to have strengthened, matured. He's efficient at his fences. I mean, I hope talk too soon, but he just never seems to meet one on a bad stride. And if he does, he's very athletic and fiddles well. Just so proficient with his technique. He's got speed as well in between, and I just think he's a different class to these. It's 1 to 2 a clear round for me. I don't see any danger whatsoever. I think what price would he be in a Gold Cup this year? Second, third favourite, probably. I think he's that good. The only slight issue for me is whether he's going to be absolutely top class beyond 3 miles. Whether he'll want to come back in trip, because, as I say, he has just got that generous and enthusiastic way of racing. But I think he's a superstar in the making myself. So I can't have him beat. Can't have
him beat. Not backing him, but that happy to sit back and watch effectively, right?
Yeah, enjoy the race. 28 races to bet in. Blah de blah de blah.
Steve, do you want to add anything to that? You don't have to if you're singing from a similar hymn machine.
We are, but he's got everything, because he won the Albert Bartlett, so that's the course form. The fourth horse there was Time Hill that would have won the Stayers, and he makes everything look so easy. So,
do you fish, Steve? Do you fish?
I do, yeah.
I thought you might.
This is my reserve fishing hat.
Right.
And the season starts next week. That's what I'm more excited about. The fly fishing season starting.
Jonesy, you look like a character off the Fast Show.
Yes.
No monkfish in our lake, though.
Oh, look, there you go.
Can't catch monkfish.
Right, come on, Rixie. Well, hang on. You'd be keen on a without market, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think Monkfish is going to win. At the prices, without a doubt, in terms of form, Sporting John is the bet for me, without a shadow of a doubt. But I put him up against Envoy Allen coming into the Cheltenham Festival last year as an each-way bet, on the proviso that I was worried about him having a tough prep at Ascot, because he broke the clock at Ascot that day when he won. He was very impressive, and when he won at Sandown the last time, he had a tough race again. So that's just playing in the back of my mind. But I think Sporting John is a very, very good horse. I just hope he's fresh enough and he's able to do himself justice here again. And if he does, I can see him finishing second to Monkfish.
He was your chaser to follow, and he came good last time. He did win nicely, didn't he? So that's Sporting John in the without market. Deasy, you're looking at playing it similarly?
Yeah, I'm going to actually go for Dickie Diver, the other JP McManus horse. He came fourth in Manila Indoors, Albert Bartlett there 2 years ago, and sure we all know that the horses that place and that are the good ones. He came back from nearly 2 years off there recently, finished second to Paint the Dream. That this horse has been talked up for 4 milers and stuff last year, and he was going to be a great novice. He's had a bit of time off now. The race last time was perfectly fine after a break. He's going to be about 7.0 in the without market. Sporting John is 5.0. I'd be happy enough to have a small bet in Dickie Diver just to finish second.
He's one of those slow burn horses, Dickie Diver, isn't he? I thought he was going to be fabulous, and there was
a lot of talk about him last year, and he's back now. Sporting John is a very good horse as well, but like you said, he had a tough race the last day. Just with some win, but he just looked like he stopped and then he started running again halfway through the race. I just couldn't trust him, so I'll stick with Dickie Diver.
Anybody got anything to add on the Brown Advisory Novices Chase? No. Let's move on to the Champion Chase, where look, hey, I tell you what, go on, 2.04 Chacun Pour Soi, Dees.
Chacun Pour Soi, 2.04, Nube Negre, 8.8, Put the Kittle on, 10.0, Silas Emery, first low is 14.5, Silas Emery is 19.0, You have Politolog down there at 11.0. Rouge Reef is 23.0. Score Real is 21.0. Sorry, these aren't in order. No, that was a bit messy.
You did it beautifully.
Yeah.
Nobody has put up Chacun Pour Soi, right? But I'm going to give you a chance that if you're seeing 2.04 and it may be a little bit bigger than you thought, does anybody looking at that going, hang on a second? Or are you sticking to your guns? Anyone? Don't all jump at once. No? Okay. No. Go on, Sam.
Well, what I would say is that, there's been a number of pundits and, myself included, that have looked to stick this horse in the hard hunt, previous to the festival, and have said, it's the lay of the week, etc., when it's been about 4 to 6. This one's actually gone the other way to Appreciate It, hasn't it? Appreciate It was sort of 6 to 4 into evens today, despite everybody allegedly not fancying it. Everyone seems to fancy Chacun Pour Soi, and you can get over even money about it. I do think this is quite a deep race. I think there's 3 or 4 in here that you look at the race and you think, I could see that winning. I could see Politolo winning again. I could probably see Nube Negra, although nobody thinks it will get up the hill. With the ground drying, I could see that running a massive race. Altior not being in the race is a real shame for me, because I did think he had a live chance, and he was a good horse really to rate the race around, wasn't he? Because he was unbeaten at Cheltenham, great March record. A horse that's been there, done it, albeit he's 10. He would have been a great horse for Chacun Pour Soi to go up against, really. Whereas a few of the others, they're a bit of an unknown. Arkle winners have a good record in the race as well, so put the kettle on's a runner, even though mares don't. So I think once you're edging back to over even money, I'm not sure I really get he won't get up the hill thing, because he's pretty good at Leopardstown, and I don't fancy running up Leopardstown too many times. So I don't see that as a proper argument, really. I think that'll be fine for him. So it was just a price perspective for me. When he was around 4 to 6, I thought he was worth taking on because he had little or no Cheltenham form. But now he's sort of drifting to even money. I think he's becoming a possible bet.
And you're a Nube Negra fan?
I am. I don't think we've seen the best of him. I think he's a pretty classy individual. I get what everyone says about him being a flat track bully, and that's totally understandable. He's all about pace. I think into the day 2, I think the ground will dry out, and that'll play to his strengths a fair bit. And I just think he's the one we don't really know a lot about in this. I think we've got a sort of an angle on everybody else, but Nube Negra just this season has just looked a different horse. I mean, I know people will perhaps poke holes in that form at Kempton when he beat Altior, a sluggish Altior around a track that didn't suit him. But God, he barely came off the bit. I know he ended up in a bit of a heap after the last, but God, he showed some toe and some pace through that race. And they should go a good gallop here, which will suit him ideally. If he's anywhere there, 2 out, he'll still be travelling, and he'll give you a real thrill for your money. So I think at 8, 9 to 1, I think he's a bit of value.
Rixie, what do you want to add on to that?
No, I totally agree with Sam. I think Nube Negra is a pretty solid winning place bet here. I think he does need 2 days of drying, though. I do think that he needs that. To be fair to him, I know Sam says about not getting up the hill. He did run well in a Fred Winter not too long ago as a younger horse, and then as a 5-year-old, he finished second at Sandown in the Henry VIII. He got up the hill pretty well that day. So I'm not too worried about the hill. He'd probably be better around a Kempton or a Newbury or whatever, but I hope he'd be all right. He's a stronger horse now, and look, there looks to be a mountain of pace on here. There could be a lot of horses taking each other on. Paul Town, and he could get sucked into maybe trying to show off Chacun Pour Soi and kind of be running on empty coming up the straight or after the last. So look, I think the race sets up very well for Nube Negra in a winning place environment. But I think we do need it to stay dry for 2 days. And the other one I'd put up as well, probably without Chacun Pour Soi, because anytime he's taken him on this season, he's been beaten. But I do think Notebook is way overpriced on his best form. I don't think if he brings his best form if he brings the run that he produced at Leopardstown over Christmas, I think I can easily see him finishing second here. Very good jumper, does a lot right. I think the ground was too soft for him the last time at the Dublin Racing Festival, and I'm hoping they'll maybe just just take back a little bit, and instead of making the run and just maybe sit third or fourth and even pop away. So that's how I'm going to play the champion chase.
A couple of shots for Nuba Negra then. Deasy, you're looking at slightly bigger prices as well. Last year's Arkle winner. He's done it now. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was having my cup of water there. I think put the kettle on is a good bet in this. I like this is an unbelievable race. I think Shaq and Poursuois couldn't be backing him at odds on or whatever he is now. Like he's just there's a few negative again. He could absolutely piss up, but there's definitely a bit of value for the places. And I think put the kettle on has done nothing wrong. She won at the November meeting again. She won last year on the track. This has been the plan all year. They're having a go, fair play to them. So, and she's getting the £7. So I'd be definitely having a small win and a nice chunky place on her. And I think the other Mullins horse, Celeste Emery, he's kind of got in a bit under the radar. He was a fancy for a lot of people for the Arkle last year before he got injured. He's a lot less exposed than a few of these. I think he's a brilliant horse. He's a brilliant jumper. He's run at Cheltenham before, if I'm not mistaken. Brian Cooper's on him. I think he will be smuggled into this race, and he's definitely a bit of value at about 19.0. So again, it'll be a small win and a good place bet.
There's a few put the kettle on fans out there in the without market. I can see her going, well, she loves it there. Adele, what about you? You like last year's winner, don't you?
I do. I like two very game horses in this race. It's a race I'm actually really looking forward to watching. Politlock, absolutely love him. You always get a run for your money. He won at 6-1 last year. You know, he's kind of always overly priced. Everyone always seems to look past him. But as I said, you get a run for your money with him. It'll be his sixth festival. He's so game. And then I do like put the kettle on as well because she's 3 out of 3 at Cheltenham. She loves it there. I did tip her for the Arkle as well. So I'm going to have 2 place bets on both of them.
Fair enough, and beautiful after timing from last year. Love that. That's great. Oh my God, no, I couldn't have seen him winning it last year, and he went and did just that. IK Brunel's here. What do you fancy?
Wow, you know who IK Brunel is now, yeah?
Yeah, he's named after a university.
The only reason he knows that is because it's a bloody Ollie Murphy horse.
That's true.
So, the champion chase. Now, you boys fancy Nuba Negra. Well, Rouge Vif thrashed Nuba Negra last year in the Kingmaker. Absolutely thrashed it. It's run well in the... come out this season, bolted up in a Cheltenham handicap, then ran third in the Tingle Creek when Harry Whittington's horses were not running well. Didn't have a single winner in December. Didn't have a single winner in January. Pretty much shut down in January. Right thing to do because he's come back and he's had 6 winners from 29 February and March. So the stable's going much better. This horse, the great thing about the rain last night, it means that there's no prospect of watering because it'll dry out tomorrow. It'll dry out Wednesday. And that's just what Rouge Vif needs and the strong pace. So... what are we looking at, Deasy? We're looking at about 26, aren't we?
23. But you'll get 26. Put up an offer.
Did he not disappoint at the festival last year?
Third in the Arkle on testing ground that had heavy places. I don't think you can really say he's that disappointing. It's just that he's so much better on decent ground.
Yeah.
I mean, he copes with soft ground. He's just a very classy horse.
Didn't Harry Whittington had 3 runners at Cheltenham last year, and they were first, second, and third.
Yeah.
Nuba Negra, St. Calvados, and Simply the Bets.
Yeah. Wait, not Nuba.
I'm just surprised that he put up that horse. I thought he was with the hat on him. Score Royal was an absolute certainty to be put up, but clearly not.
Sam?
Just to say, he lost a shoe in last year's Arkle, I think, Rouge Vif.
Okay.
Oh, Adele told us that doesn't matter, Sam.
No, if I had a count for every winner who'd lost a shoe, I'd be very rich.
Yeah, but it adds a bit of what I always love to when I'm tipping up a horse. And he lost a shoe last time. Love throwing it out there. Good stuff. There you go. Daniel Hussey says Michael's spot on. I didn't even spell your name right. Put the kettle on 3 from 3 at Cheltenham. I still think that Aidan Sul's comment wins it. I backed over 3.5 mutes. Where do I get paid? That's a good point. There's been more than that. Have we had everyone for the champion chase? We're done. Anything to add?
No, sir.
Lovely. Right. Handicaps and anything else for Wednesday? AOB, any other bets? DC, bets on Wednesday. Take it away.
I'll do Thomas Darby, Craig Nish, and my old friend Bourne Bill in the Coral Cup because it's Cheltenham. Why not have 3 bets? They'll all be winning players. I think Craig Nish especially, I think that he's very well handicapped. He absolutely bolted up at Ascot the last day, has gone up a good bit, but I don't think that that will stop him. And Nicky has a good record in this. I think Easy Land is one of the delays of the festival. If he goes off odds on, there won't be enough money in the world for me to get on and to lay him. In the Grand Annual, Chosen Mate, last year's winner, £7 claim on him. They're very highly rated. I think that I think he's gone up £9 from last year. If you put £9 more on his back last year, would it have made a difference? Jonesy, what can I help? You spotted him every now and again. None of you spotted the top hat for a while. And I was here. That's why I had to mute, because I was laughing at Jonesy and his top hat.
Are you done for your any other bets, Dees?
Chosen Mate, and of course the annual bet on Bundoran back in the Grand Annual where he broke my heart a few years ago. Redemption will be mine. He's going to be about 26.0, so I'll have a small win and a nice place bet because he's in off a nice weight and he's a good horse.
You're a brave man, aren't you? Can I just say, if anybody's listening on the pod, you won't see that Steve Jones has had a different hat for every. What he should have done is some sort of accent for every different hat, so you could have appreciated it. But he's been through so many. I didn't know there were this many hats, but he's been through a good few of them, and I don't even know what this one is. We'll come to him shortly. Rixie, what are your other bets?
The other bets in the Coral Cup, Sneezy Foster, very good trainer recently. Grandois, I like this horse. He's very likeable, got a nice profile for the race. Went through the race for a big field Coral Cup. It doesn't look like there's a lot of pace on. I think you'll want to be on the money here, and he races prominently. So Grandois for me. And if we get 2 days worth of drying in the Coral Cup, Nigel Twiston Davis's Our Power is a colossal price. You've got to forgive him a bad run last time at Wincanton, but it was brutal ground that day. That's not really his ground. He started off the season very well, running well in soft ground, but I've always had him down as a nice kind of ground horse. So I'm assuming Sam Twiston Davis had the choice of the two there, and he's gone for Guard Your Dreams. But I think Our Power is a better handicapped horse, and he might stay better. But that would just put you off a little bit that Sam hasn't picked him. You know, maybe he's lost his form or whatever. But if on good ground, he's a huge price. So those are two against
65.0 Our Power.
Yeah, those are two against the field. And then finally in the Grand Annual, my old friend Embittered.
Yeah.
My old friend Embittered. He's been
forced to follow for Rixie this year was Embittered.
Crying out for a sharper track and decent ground, and he's going to get it. It's all coming together. He jumps very well. The Joseph O'Brien horses are in much better form. Rachel Blackmore takes the ride. Happy days. It doesn't look a great Grand Annual to me. Novices have a very good record. So, Embittered, it is finally your time to shine, baby. Bring it home.
6.6. I tell you what, Rixie, you better hope it doesn't rain on all your bets. You better when it dries up on Wednesday.
Yes, well, look, that's a big caveat. To be fair. But look, as well as studying form, I've studied the weather. It looks like it's going to be dry.
That's what you got to do. Jonesy, what's that? How's that fit?
UC Verisami. Anyway, go on.
This was I forgot I had this hat. It was bought in Torremolinos in about 1993, I think. So I'm glad that it was tucked away somewhere. It's a good one, this.
It's the sort of hat that you really want to remember you have. Go on, what are your other bets on Wednesday?
A Moolah Gold in the Grand Annual, who I think's been very good this season. Another Dan Skelton horse, so it's great that he's firing in the winners. maybe I've been sucked into it a little bit on that next second to first flow at Ascot, when first flow didn't jump very well and was giving Amula Gold a bit of weight, but it's still a great run against a Grade 1 winner. Second to Sky Pirate last time, when needed probably them to go a little bit harder than they did, and again it's weighted to reverse that with Sky Pirate. So Amula Gold, I think that again is quite a decent price. I think something around 21, something like that.
Just had to unmute myself there, sorry. Amula Gold is 23.0.
There you go.
Ooh, that's a big price, you know that. I think Dan Scoutton's going to have a good week. I'm not saying he's going to be champion trainer this week, but he's going to have a good week, I think.
And Sam Turner, any other bets Wednesday?
Well, Jonesy's auditioned for bargain and pantomime by the look of it tonight, so he won't need any of these winners. But I'll go Coral Cup. I like Thomas Darby a lot. He's only ever running one handicap, I think, and that was a win at the expense of Song for Someone at Ascot last year in good fashion. I think this is really interesting runner for me with the cheap pieces on. I know he's got top weight, but those towards the top of the handicap in the Coral Cup aren't necessarily disadvantaged in previous running. So I like him in that race, and I like Birchdale as well, who I wouldn't say he was kept out of the way in last year's race, but the very well-backed Dame de Compagnie seemed to be a lot more prominent in the race and won comfortably. And Birchdale came home in his own time, about 8 or 10 lengths behind. I think he did a nice racecourse gallop at Kempton recently, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a more prominent showing from him. So I'll just have a split stakes on those two, I think. The Grand Annual's a bit of a nightmare race because I was quite sweet on Eldorado Allen. Don't know if I mentioned it earlier.
He runs in the Arkle Eldorado Allen.
Probably have 75 about him, can't I now?
Yeah.
But what was the song? If you want to have you've got to have a JOB if you want to get with me. So I'll pick Joseph's 3 horses in this race probably and have a split stakes. I napped us and them in the race last year. Thought he ran really well. I think he's had a wind up. He's going well. He's the biggest price of the 3, so I'll probably have him to win a few quid and the other 2 just to save us. I think the other 2 will go well as well.
No romance without finance, as the song continues.
Absolutely. More my era than yours, though, Tom, I would suggest.
I go back a bit. Adele, your other bets on Wednesday?
My other bet, I'm going to go with Kilcrut, is it? So am I going to get shot? Married to an Irish family? Did I get that right?
That's right. The Mullenses are coming with the pitchforks for you.
So I'm going to go with him in the bumper. Mullins has obviously got a fantastic record in the race, looking to win it. Will that be his 11th time? Really impressive at Leopardstown. I know there was a lot of talk about that horse last year. And then I've also got Some Neck, just for place in the cross-country chase, who won the cross-country chase in December in first-time cheap piece. He's had a run over hurdles since, I presume just to kind of keep him going and to kind of keep him sharpened up. So place market with him.
Thank you, Adele. Can I bring in Helen's comment? You could do your conkers following Birchdale. The reason I want to bring that in is, and you've got a point there, Helen. You could, but I really think you're onto something, Sam. That race last year, I have absolutely zero doubt that, you know, JP often rolls a lot of darts in a race, but that was all about Dame de Compagnie winning, right? And you know, that horse, Birchdale, is maybe their leading chance this year. I think he's got a great chance.
Yeah, so do I. It's just I do take on board. I mean, he's hardly been a winning machine, but he's always been a horse that they felt is capable of a lot better. I was actually at Warwick for his bumper win, I think, with Stewart, and the money came for him that day, and I think the helicopter came as well. I think JP was there, or somebody from the organisation was there, and he absolutely bolted up that day. And I remember Barry Geraghty getting off him and thinking, this is a pretty special prospect. Hasn't quite worked out like that, but you know, you've got to back a plot somewhere along the line, haven't you? And he does look as though he's been plotted up for this. And as I say, I think he did a decent racecourse gallop recently as well that they were keen on. So but there'll be other bets that you could have in the race probably, but he'll have a fun bet and a bit of support from me.
There are a couple of comments on Three Stripe Life. Daniel Hussey and Peter's Punt both talk about Three Stripe Life in the bumper. Any thoughts on this horse? Obviously, Kilcrut is the talking horse. Does anybody want to talk about Three Stripe Life?
Jamie Codd, I think, on the at the races.com preview nights, was pretty keen on him. Said he's a nice horse, but he did kind of caveat all of that with Sir Gerhard and Kilcrut are look like very, very good horses. So the Bumper is not a race I generally have a bet in. So, but yeah, Codd seemed to like him anyway, to be fair.
Jonesy?
Yeah, it would worry me that he's only had one run, which usually it goes to a horse with a bit more experience than that. That would be my chief concern with Three Stripe Life. And with Kill Crew as well, this is often won by Willie Mullins, as we know, but just purely on the stats, it's usually not the fancied one or the shortest in the betting.
Don't bother with the Bumper, lads. Don't bother with it. Don't bother with it.
Listen, I'd appreciate it to have a really good day last year, and somehow that thing got beat. Right, anyway, it's how it goes, right? We move on. Before we do best bets, DC, you're going to get your offer out. Sounds odd, but you are. What's the offer, DC?
So it's the sign-up offer for new customers only. Sign up today with the bonus code INSIGHTS and you will get 0% commission betting on all sports until April 12th.
All sports till April the 12th. So even with your 2% net commission, normally you'd be getting best odds, but you will definitely be getting best odds with the 0% commission. Right, best bets we go to on the Wednesday, day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival. Adele, your best bet on Wednesday, please.
My best bet. I'm going to have 2, actually. I'm going to have Kilcrut win bet, and I'm going to have Politolog as a place bet.
Lovely. Politolog in the place market and Kilcrut in the win market. Best bet for Adele. Sam Turner, your best bet.
I'll go Brave or Safe. What do you think?
Oh, Brave. It's Cheltenham, Sam.
Thomas Derby in the Coral Cup. Win and
Lovely.
place.
Did we get a price on Thomas Derby? I think now it's the best bet. We really should. I'll let DC do that. But win and place in the Coral Cup for Sam on Thomas Derby
Is 15.5.
15.5 Thomas Derby. Steve Jones, you've just got the hair out now, and it is a beautiful head of hair. My word, look at that. You could do a top knot.
I'm going to ignore that and go for Rouge Vif in win and place in the Champion Chase.
Rouge Vif, that's another big price. Win and place in the Champion Chase. Declan Ricks, your best bet on Wednesday.
Best bet Wednesday is Brave Man's Game for me.
That's exactly what this is as well. DC, your best bet.
In the Bumper, Chosen Mate in the Grand Annual. I was going to say Thomas Derby, but Sam has put him up, so I'll go for Chosen Mate.
The rides he's been getting this year, some laugh. Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. Like the best form in that race is winning it last year, running it last year, and he won it. And he absolutely pissed up. So going to do it again. Get the money on.
There we go. That's our preview of Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, join us on Wednesday, 6 p.m, where we will be looking ahead to days 3 and 4 of the Cheltenham Festival. We will say goodbye to Adele for that. She can't be with us. We'll get Matt Toombs back in for that, who was with us on the Antipost preview. Otherwise, the panel remains the same. We did it in under an hour and a half. Unbelievable scenes. 2 days of Cheltenham done. Adele, thank you.
Thank you.
Sam, top man as ever. A pleasure.
Good luck.
Mr. The Mad Hatter, loved it. Thanks ever so much, Jonesy. Bruno.
Hats off to Isambard Kingdom.
Rixie, good man. Go well.
Mucho gracias.
And Mr. Matchbook himself, he bleeds Matchbook. DC, you had a really good festival last year in all seriousness, so I hope you have another one.
Goramila Mahagwiv.
Exactly what he said. Not a clue. Thanks ever so much for watching. We'll see you again Wednesday at 6 p.m. for days 3 and 4. Thanks for watching here. Thanks for getting in touch, staying interactive as well. We love that. And good luck the first couple of days. We'll see you Wednesday. Bye-bye.